Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show. It's Icewater, Blackthorn, yours truly, Puma. 74 days into the Rihanna halftime Super Bowl show. We were out last week. Hopefully everybody had a great holiday, had a lot to eat. We're going to start off with college football going into championship week. And last week, there were some games that happened. I was quite shocked. I'm going to go to Ice first because I wanted to talk to you. I know you were out of town. I wanted to talk to you before this. But Ohio State, I did not see Michigan beating Ohio State, but Michigan with that top 5 defense in the country really put the hammer down in the second half. What did you see in that game? And do you see a possibility of Ohio State sneaking back into the playoff picture?
Wow. What did I see in that game? I'm gonna put it like this. The plan that Ohio State supposedly had worked in the first half. They focused on the run, they shut the run down. But the one thing they forgot to do is in the second half, they did not make any adjustments defensively in the second half. So they dared J.J. McCarthy to beat them, and he took them up on it. And after he do their first little pass, little out, where they missed the tackle, and the guy ran for the first passing touchdown in the second quarter, it continued from there. So on the passes that he made, and kudos to him. I mean, he take nothing from him. He's like, okay, that's how y'all gonna do it. I'm gonna take advantage of it. They never made any changes. They kept playing man-to-man defense, knowing that they were hurting in the secondary. Didn't even think about going to a zone. And then after a while, it was just like everything unraveled defensively because of the factor that you notice that they hold you down to, what is it, less than 30 yards rushing in the first half. Mm-hmm. Then after you tear them up, and you unload on your opponent at home, on their home field passing, and then the floodgates just open, where the running back ran, 2 long runs after that. It was over. So no, I think that's what it was. You don't make adjustments, you will get beat. Michigan's a very good team, a very good team. But Ohio State, they didn't make adjustments. They didn't make changes. It's almost too offensively for me, as if they became really predictable the way they were moving the ball. You had the run freshman that's been playing the last couple of weeks with everybody hurt. The running back didn't play him at all, really. I understand they put the transfer in because it was the big game. And I mean, wow. Everybody in the world knows, if you watch Ohio State for the last 5 weeks, they're throwing the ball to Marvin Harrison. How about that tight end, bro? This is a big game. And my last point on this is Michigan. One thing I will say, and maybe the Ohio State coach, Mr. Day, got out-coached by Harbaugh. Harbaugh said, I'm going to do every damn thing I can not to lose this game. They had a linebacker that was posing as a fullback and didn't play a lot of fullback. They gave him the ball. He takes 2 steps and jumps in the air and throws a pass for a first down. What in the hell? But that's Harbaugh. Harbaugh say he don't care what he had to do, he was going to win that game. Kudos to him. Kudos to him. And is Ohio State going to get in? I doubt it, man. I mean, the only thing I can see, if USC loses, maybe. But if USC loses, now I'm going to just say this and get it out the way. Because I think if TCU loses, they still get in unless they get blown out, because they only have one loss. But of course, it's already been said, if USC loses, then they already calling for 2-loss Alabama to get in. Really? Yeah. I'm not surprised, but that's how it works. That's how it works. Anyway,
that's the thing that bothers me, Black, because Utah is favored over USC. And USC, I think I texted you guys last week, Caleb Williams is the truth, man. That dude was running all over for the last couple of weeks, just running all over teams. Last week it was Notre Dame. But I missed the Ohio State-Michigan game. I only saw highlights and what I can catch on YouTube and different the Big Ten station and things of that sort. I didn't see the whole game. What did you see, sir?
I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna start off by basically doubling down on the kudos to Harbaugh, because I remember a couple of years ago, I thought he should have left, and everybody was like basically calling for him to leave. He didn't get the job done. He can't recruit, and the AD stuck with him. Good choice, man, because he has brought this team along. And I'm looking at them in that game, man. I'm thinking about the old Michigan Wolverines, bro, how it was back in the day. It seemed like to me, like I said, the first half, they stopped the running and I agree with not making many changes, but it seemed like to me in the second half, again, they didn't change their defense, and they kept trying to come at the quarterback. When he proved basically, if you keep coming with us, I'm gonna give this to you. We're gonna go long. But it seemed like to me too that Michigan, for the first time, man, mentally was like, we're not going down to Ohio State. We're not doing that. I know they won last year, but it seemed like their will kicked in like, nah, we're not taking this is a different Michigan team. We're not having this. And it seemed like when that motivation started to roll in the second half, it was like a steamroll, bro. It just kind of picked up wind, and it just kind of turned into a snowball, and they ran with it, man. They ran whatever they wanted to do offensively, they did it. The defense started cracking down. It was like almost not a totally different team, but their second half, the adjustments that they made mentally kicked in, and they just saw it, man. They started tasting it. They tasted, and they brought it too. I'm going to say this about the top four. And, I was talking a while ago, when I was talking about, one person, I want to mention his name, talking about, there's no way Alabama going to the top four, bro. There's no way. To me, what's there right now, every team, if they lose one game, should not be kicked out of the top four. USC included, should not be kicked out of the top four. Same thing with TCU. I said this a couple of weeks, I thought they was coming, should not be kicked out. Now, if USC goes out and gets slaughtered, if they go out and basically lose by 40 points, you want to move them out of the way. I understand you want a better four, bring Ohio State back in. But there's no way, if any one of those teams loses one of these games this weekend, especially if it's a close game, Alabama should be able to jump in. If that happens, just tell me Alabama going to be in there every year and forget about it. Don't play any games. Put them in because you want them for money, you want them for prestige. This is not their year, man. Even some games they won, they shouldn't have won. They don't deserve to be there. They really don't. They only deserve to be that high, in my opinion. But, that's how it rolls. But there's no way. And, when I heard one person talking about this one league, I said to you before we started, I honestly believe some of these talking heads are getting kickbacks, bro. They're getting kickbacks. They just are. You can't tell me when you start this week on a Monday talking about Alabama, if this happens, Alabama, one team, Alabama should go in. Well, they're not even, I can see if there was number 5. But when you start on a Monday, you make that your choice of every day, banging that drum, somebody's put some cash down somewhere, bro. Someone's put some cash down. I said this before about draft. I think these commentators are taking backdoor deals to talk about certain players. And I said to you before we started recording, look at the Jets quarterback. How did he get to be ranked number 2, me taking number 2 in the draft? It wasn't on skill. It was nothing you saw at BYU. It's just say this man, and now we're seeing exactly how it plays itself out. So with that being said, pay attention to who says what and why they might be saying it, because I think sometimes, man, these cats are taking money. And they're taking money, or they're doing some type of kickback to kind of promote and say some things, because there's no way you can look at what Alabama had this season and think they should make it in with 2 losses. When you got teams in front of them, that's played a good strength of schedule. TCU has played one of the best strength of schedules that you can find, bro. When you look at the numbers, they haven't. Michigan's strength of schedule is pretty good. Georgia has basically done what they did. And you're going to tell me, even USC, I'd rather see USC basically bring back some of the old names, USC, Michigan, throw a new name in, TCU. It's time for Alabama to go on about his business. Go on, the NLA is going to kind of do away with Nick Saban at some point anyway. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. And to me, if you put them in, realistically, if you decide to put them in, all the members that voted, you need to come out publicly and state why. Don't go in a locked room and closed door and come out and don't say anything. No, I want to see you come out and skip behind a microphone.
That's never going to happen. They're going.
No, I'm just saying, but if you want to make that type of vote, put your name on it, sign it, and put it out there. Be man or woman enough to do it, because there's no justification for Alabama should be close to go in and play for a championship this year. And they're not going to win it, even if you put them in, unless you pay the referees.
Yeah, well, we're coming up on championship week. There's some great games to decide the conference championship. Georgia against LSU, Michigan against Purdue, TCU against Kansas State. Again, I mentioned earlier, USC against Utah, where Utah is favored in that game. North Carolina and Clemson. If you haven't taken a look at North Carolina's freshman quarterback, Maine, he is the truth. He's a freshman. He'll probably get mentioned in the Heisman Trophy race, but Caleb Williams, for me, has been winning that for the last few weeks. Alabama had a great game, Ice, and they seem to be putting the pressure on to make voters kind of say, hey, don't forget us over here in the playoff picture. But I got a feeling if Utah does win against USC, I don't think USC should be bounced out of the playoffs because, you know, they're on a short week. They're coming to play Utah. Utah is nowhere near playing in the playoffs, but they won that part of the conference in the Pac-12. I can't see if any of these teams lose. The only team I could see coming back in is Ohio State. But I don't think Michigan or Tennessee or Penn State or Washington, I got a chance to see them against Washington State. They look really good. I don't think those teams deserve to be in the playoffs. I agree with Black. The four that's up there now should be in the playoffs.
I think that's interesting, no, and I'm not saying it because I live in Columbus. You might think that way, but I'm being real. If USC loses, that will be USC's second loss. Not only that, that'll be their second loss to Utah. So you lose twice to the same team. Do they get in? I'm just making a statement in the conversation. I mean, yeah, they have looked real good at times, but if you lose twice to the same team, okay, and you deserve to get in over a one-loss Ohio State. Ohio State has played crazy. Did they look good? They get blown out at home, yes. But you lose twice to the same team in the regular season, and then you lose them to them again during the conference championship, and you deserve to get in.
So my question would be to that while you were talking about that, does the type of loss count? So if you lose a close game, a nail biter with a field goal, do you take USC out? Or if USC gets blown out, of course, I don't think they should be in the playoffs because they're not going to be a good representative representing like that. But if you lose a close loss in your conference championship, I don't know if I pull you out at that particular point.
I'm asking the question, though. It's the same team. You lost twice. They had one loss.
It's a good
one
point.
loss to Utah.
Yeah.
So you lose again to Utah. And then it's like, and I'm not saying it could be any, it don't have to be Ohio State. You choose who you want to. It could be somebody else with a one-loss situation. But you watch this team play twice. The same team beats them. And then you go, okay, well, we're going to put you in there, still keep you in there. I can see if they were undefeated. I agree with you. They took one loss and it's close, yeah. But twice to the same team, I said that about anybody.
Yeah.
Why not put Utah in? And I know that I'm being facetious, I'm talking crazy, but when you have one team, USC lose twice to the same team,
yeah,
and with some other team with one loss or that's been halfway decent for the most part, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because you got Utah with 3 losses, a 9-3 record. Black, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Well, that is a good point. That's a vital point.
It is a good point.
Yeah, that's a vital point. They lose to Utah twice. It gives you something to think about. Only thing I would kind of add to that, I mean, I'm not just saying it based on Ohio State's loss to Michigan. At that point, I would go to their strength of schedules for Ohio State, and I know it's a 2 loss, and Ohio State and USC, and basically at that point kind of determine how it kind of could fall at that point. But yeah, that's a strong point. I mean, if you lost twice to the same team, even though, you know, that team could have your number, but 2 losses to the same team, man. Yeah, I hope USC, and that's nothing against Ohio State, they kind of settle that, because I would like to see USC kind of be back in the mix of things. To me, there's certain school titles, man. Sometimes you get excited, or it's kind of a rejuvenation kind of seeing back in. I'm going to say something, man, real quick, if you don't mind, bro. And this goes off the bat and beat the pad. I know Rihanna's about 73 days away, but I'm going to say this. I can watch Candace Parker once a week on NBA TV, bro.
Oh, we're back on this again.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Rihanna's
That's why your eyes are wandering.
Look, hey, Puma, I can't do it. Look, she dead to me on that.
Don't you remember the heart wrench?
Yeah.
Wow. I got over it.
Snatched it out. You got over it?
I got over it, man. I look at her, my heart ain't hurting.
Look, hey, I'm going to find somebody new. But I guess the other part too, when you mentioned about strength of schedule, is if I was going to say this, and it does come down to the USC losing to Utah, Ohio State beat Notre Dame. Some people put them in the grave. That is like a top 10 team or whatever. And then also they beat Penn State. So you like, okay, what you do there? I mean, it's an interesting point. I just think it's interesting
It is.
because somebody could have, you can argue both points, but it'll be interesting to see, and we'll find out Saturday, I guess, or this weekend.
Yeah, so I'll go back to Black with this one. What games are you really, really want to zero in on this weekend, championship week?
I mean, we will start right there with USC and Utah. I mean, right there, because that's going to really determine a lot. TCU, man. I mean, I want to see what they do with Kansas State. I think it's Kansas State they're playing. What they do with them. I'm not that concerned with what Michigan and Georgia's doing at this point, because to me, they're not moving anyway, no matter what they do. I don't think TCU should move, but I want to see TCU basically, keep doing what they was doing. I don't know if you guys caught that game. I think it was 2 weeks ago when they was playing. I forgot the team that was playing. When they got that field goal off at the end of the game with 17, bro, to practice that as young men and be dedicated and committed and get that done, bro, I'm sorry, man. That right there, that whole team deserves a Heisman, as far as I'm concerned. I'm watching that happen. I couldn't believe it, bro. I'm like, what the? And when they made it, come on, bro. That's college football to me at its best. When that happened, that's it. So I've kind of always been quietly rooting for them. I watched them I might against Baylor. That might have been the game against Baylor. But there it is, man. Those two games right there, mainly USC and TCU. What are they going to do this weekend?
All right. Ice, your thoughts. What games are you going to be concentrating on?
Well, definitely those two games. I want to see TCU versus Kansas State, because TCU is a weird type of school, and maybe this is how they're going to run it through. Sometimes you think teams get real lucky. There are a couple of times where I know TCU was down by 18 and they came back and won.
Yeah.
And it's happened before, where you do what you got to do, as Blackthorne mentioned, about that last second field goal and you win. And sometimes that's how you win, because you get lucky a little bit, or you had that momentum and you do that. So I'm going to definitely watch that. But also USC, Utah, because my question is, USC, and I told y'all earlier when I mentioned it about earlier in the season, I said, y'all better watch out, because they got the wide receiver that transferred from Pittsburgh. They had the running back that was healthy. Of course, the quarterback, Caleb Williams, and then also the coach. I said they was on their way. So they start making moves and they start getting better and better and looking better. But I really want to watch that game closely, because I think there's a lot of pressure on USC, a lot of pressure on the coach. So Utah has nothing to lose. And Utah is known for hanging around and making people miserable. They did it last year. They almost got Ohio State in the bowl game. So from that standpoint, and now it's like, why not make one other team miserable? You know what it'll be like if USC lose that game and they don't get to go? Oh my God, they be talking about that forever. Plus two, I think what's going to be interesting is if Ohio State does not, if the USC wins and Ohio State's on the outside, there's been rumblings that the Rose Bowl, normally the team that followed the runner-up in the Big Ten is selected by the Rose Bowl.
Right.
But they're saying that the Rose Bowl is seriously contemplating saying, we just had Ohio State in there last year. We're not going to pick them. They're going to pick somebody else to play either Utah or Washington. So you might end up finding Ohio State playing in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Stay tuned. Speaking of college football, Hugh Freeze gets hired by Auburn. I'm gonna go to Black to this one first, because I remember vividly why he got fired the last time he was coach. But it never ceases to amaze me how these colleges will take a coach like this, brush him off, put him in a nice suit, sit him up in front of the press conference and say, all's forgiven. And this is the guy that we think, out of all the people out there that can coach this team, this is the guy that we think will best represent leading our young men.
You know, when I look at this, man, and you're right about Hugh Freeze, but a lot of times what we don't kind of pay attention to is, how did he get there? And I'm just going to speculate on the possibility of how he may have gotten there. Whoever's working for him, bro, is good. It's good. And a lot of times on the golf courts, these mills, whatever, you got people that basically are brown nose and they're smoozing, and that's their job. Because I'm sure the person that's working there, he's paying well, his agent. No, he's a jackass, but he's hireable. And I know a lot of times we go to, the color of the person's skin. Don't get me wrong, that plays a big part of it. But we forget about the serious networking that goes on. Because I'm really sure the last time he got fired, the person that he's working for, he started working immediately. out there talking and bang, 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 bang. And think about it sometimes, man. Let's say you're sitting at a restaurant and somebody's talking to you and they're buying your drinks. And you might have went in the restaurant knowing I'm not going to do this. After them laugh you up a little bit, got you a little smoothed up a little bit. Yeah, you know what? You know. And that's how a lot of these deals are done. But I will say this, though, after all said and done, people that look like us, they have these kids, you got to start paying attention to the man that's going to be leading your child. And I'm serious. I'm serious. Stop. Don't get me wrong. I know you want to think about the NFL, but if you're turning your kid loose to an organ, to a school, what about the person up front? What do they think of your son? And to me, Black parents, I'm being straightforward with this. You got to start considering that. Stop thinking about they're going to make these millions. 9 out of 10 times they're not. And you run into these places and have these guys basically help them develop into being a better man, and they can't because they're not a good man at all. So sometimes it has to be thought about. And we don't. As a race of people, I'll be honest with you. We're looking at the pie in the sky. If we can get there, if this person can get us there, and that's all we care about. But if we would do a little bit more of that, you wouldn't see these hires of Hugh Freeze, because granted, if we would basically not have our kids go play behind him, he wouldn't get these jobs pop up over and over and over again. And I guarantee you, half the people that don't play for him, their parents don't even care he was out with escorts, bro. Let's be real. Let's get real. So I'm just saying what it is, and we know predominantly college sports of football, what's the majority on the field?
Yeah, true.
So, Grant, so if you go where somebody's going to treat you like a young man, help you develop on and off the field, and go there, that's where you go to play. And that's why I'm going to say this, I get out the way. That's why I'm a little sad that the coach for Stanford decided to step down. I hope he comes to the pros, because they've been trying to get him there, Shaw, for a while. Because I would turn my son over to Shaw to have him coach him and lead him. I knew he was at Stanford, but that's what I'm trying to say. Stop sending these kids to these schools where they don't give an F about your son, because you think your son is so great, he's going to the NFL, and he's not. Pay attention to what's going on. He shouldn't be able to walk through a black door, as far as I'm concerned. He should be able to walk through a black recruit. He should be able to come into your home. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, Ice, give me your thoughts on this story, because when I first saw it, I'm like, here we go again. Here we go again. It made me think of Rick Pitino, when he got a coaching job at Iona after all the stuff that was happening, all the alleged stuff that was happening in Louisville. And then he steps right back into the ranks again. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's really sad. I agree with Black Thor in regards to how you should really look at it. But at the end of the day, man, it comes down to, and we sound like a broken record, I know I do, comes down to people want to win. You know, you got these allegations about him using the phone to call some escort or something like that too. And then they're making the joke that if he had a burner phone, he'd still be the coach at Ole Miss.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah. You know, him and Tiger Woods. Anyway, legend. But but I'm just saying it comes down to that where teams want to win. Again, I mentioned to you, depends on who you look at it, who you ask. 76 and 47, 83 and 43. You do the math. He's 5-2 in bowl, 6-2 in bowl games. And Auburn want to win, bro. Like one other people do, they want to win. And the other thing too, and I know I know it sounds like a broken record because I'm stating things that there should be more to it than just how many games you win. It should be about character. It should be about what kind of person you are. You should not be an alleged sleazeball. You should be a guy with some character and going to teach the kids, you know, some humility and try to be good men and decent, upstanding men. But right now, they're showing us it don't matter. They want to win. They want to win back. Also, too, let me mention that while he was at Ole Miss, he beat Alabama twice.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the biggest thing that can happen at Auburn? If you don't win the national championship.
The Iron Bowl.
There you go. There you go. It's like Ohio State and Michigan. What if you don't do nothing else, you can keep your job for the next 15 years if you can beat Alabama. So guess what? Like they said, we didn't know what to do, so we went and got somebody that we know can beat Saban. Question is, can you do it at Auburn?
Great points. Great points. Let's go to college basketball. I've been watching a lot of college basketball. I predicted a couple of weeks ago Houston's going to be the #1 team. They're the #1 defense in college basketball. They're #1, followed by Texas, Virginia, Arizona, #4. Purdue jumped up 19 spots with their big man up there at #5. Baylor got smashed by Marquette last night, and they're #6. I expect them to go down. You have Creighton, you have UConn. I was telling Black over the phone over the holidays that UConn has a really nice squad. Kansas, North Carolina dropped all the way to 18th, where I think they should be. I never thought, never thought they should be in the top 25, but I never thought they should be #1. No, they got to earn their way to #1, but they dropped 17 spots to 18. Duke dropped 9 spots to 17. Those teams need to be right there. Work your way back up to the top 10, because as a Carolina fan, when you see the Carolina Tar Heels #1, you're always kind of like, everybody's coming at them. They kind of carry that arrogance that they should be #1, and they don't play hard, and they get snuck. So I think they are right where they should be, honestly, as being a fan. 17 out of the top 10, work your way back up. Yes, I think this is perfect for them. Yes. Let's go to Ice first, man. Your eye test on college basketball.
Let me speak to that point first. You are tripping. You are literally.
I'm kidding you.
Wait a minute. Let me finish.
They should.
I'm telling you.
They are soft inside. I watched it in the tournaments. They are soft inside. They are not playing smart, whether it's the coach or the players. They're not playing smart. So get them out of that #1 spot. Get them under the 10th spot. So 17 is fine for me as a Carolina fan.
You know I love you dearly. You are my brother. I love you, but you are crazy as hell. All I did this weekend, I was in San Antonio, Texas. I watched basketball like a hawk. My brother and I we're in a hotel room, and we went to the folks' house, and we like glued in. And we like, okay, watch North Carolina get beat the first time. Then we watched them play a hell of a fight. Portland
Alabama game, yeah.
Yeah, Alabama. I mean, man, the teams that played were really good. They were coming. Portland was hellified. And when you said that, I was like, 17?
Yeah.
Man, please. No way. Now that's a fan talking, because you don't want them to be up there because you want them to get tight and make that run at the end. Exactly. That's fine.
Exactly.
Don't say that then. Don't tell me like as an analyst or a college basketball expert. They know where the hell they the #17 team in the country. Crazy hell. No way. I'm telling you that. But they look real good. I like them. I liked them last year. They got a transfer from Northwestern, Larry Nance's son.
Yes.
The big fella that shoots jumpers that need to learn how to play a little defense, though.
Yeah.
But, they look real good. But there are some very good teams that are very hungry. And I think that's what happened in North Carolina. Could they have beat them? Could they play smarter? Yes. But let me just say, do not worry about North Carolina. Don't you worry about them. They're going to be okay, because there was a lot of competition. A lot of teams got beat. A lot of teams got that's why you see Houston where they are, moved up that way. That's why you see Virginia where they're at. That's why you see Texas where they're at, because these tournaments, and you might as well say that, Gonzaga should be number 30. Because if you go
Gonzaga's number 14 right now, but
how are they 14?
They're not looking really good at all. Yeah,
but how are they 14? I guess my point to you, have you seen Gonzaga play?
Yeah, I've seen them play.
Gonzaga looks like, and this is early, Gonzaga looks like the team, you go to the park or you go to the rec center and you got them young boys, 17 years old, jumping and dunking over people over the backs, fouling, all out of control. And then you have the one center and Timmy in there just playing perfectly and waiting for everything to come down, everybody to calm down. And then once they calm down, we're really going to gel. That's what it is. Yeah. So Gonzaga is why, I'm telling you, man, you watch Gonzaga, I was like, the hell, they coming down, turnover. But they're so talented. These guys, some of them are future pros, but they have not learned the system yet at Gonzaga. They've learned patience, calm down, slow everything down. But I love it because early on, there's a lot of good teams. I mentioned Portland, right? You mentioned some other teams that beat North Carolina. The tournaments, the Maui Classic is one of the best things I saw. Then we saw Bahamas. I was like, man, this don't get no better. I can't wait to get back to talk about it. All right, Black Doors listening. I can't say that. Anyway, I ain't gonna tell it all. I was all hyped. I told my brother, I can't wait. And then he's like, you know, Black Door gonna be listening. I said, he's like, let's get another drink.
Everybody know.
yeah, everybody knows. So I said, you're right. But no, I am really excited. I think they really did me a favor because it was some great games. I literally got a chance to watch, and I haven't watched basketball like this since the tournament, right? But now I'm in because I'm like, is Houston really that good? And now, as Black Door likes to say, we're seeing a lot of teams that usually don't get recognition. They're getting their just due now early on, as you can see at the standings. Where in the hell are you going to tell me when you come up and you look at certain teams, you go, where did this team come from? And when did you know that, like Purdue is really good with Edney, qualified center. But when you look at some of these teams, you're like, what?
Creighton is ranked too high to me. Creighton is ranked too high.
I mean, but Creighton's 7-1.
Yeah.
I mean, but you got to give them their love early. See, that's what I like about the earliness of it. If another team loses, put the guys up there that you normally don't get an opportunity. And then the team, like you said, North Carolina at 17, really. Anyway, they're going to work their way back up anyway. This is just how it works with dominoes. So again, Puma's with his fandom going over here talking about Carolina should be out the top 20.
But the Blue Bloods.
Well, that's a fan. Those are fans.
You got Duke at 17. You got North Carolina at 18. You got Kentucky at 19. Michigan State at 20. UCLA at 21. Now, when do we ever see that?
Right. But last point on this for me, the date. Y'all mark this down. Yeah. It is November 30th. January 16th, the day after King Day. I want you to go back and look at the same damn stands and tell me if the same Blue Bloods are there. Tell me where North Carolina will be at on January 16th. And will they be number 17?
I think they'll be a little higher, but they got to go through that ACC.
Man, get out. You boy.
Yeah.
Hey, last point, I promise. You just trying to keep them down so you can pick them this year.
All right, take it away, Black. I know you've been.
I didn't get a chance to catch any basketball recently, but I will say this though. I remember, and I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking to myself, I remember years when Duke would lose like 3, 4, 5 games straight, and they wouldn't fall out of the top 10, bro. They wouldn't fall out of the top 10. They would keep them in the top 10. So I find it amazing that North Carolina loses a close game and to some good play, and they drop to 18th. Somewhere to me, that's because, and I haven't watched Duke, so I can't speak on what Duke is on 17. But to me, sometimes I'm thinking, is that because of who's leading the team, bro? Do they respect that person as a head coach, whatever the case may be? Because if you thought enough of North Carolina to go to number 1, 2 losses should not drop them to 18, bro. It should not. Now, if they lost by 80 points, both games, guess what? I can start to see it. But if they lose 2 games early in the season, all these teams are finding out who they are. They're finding their identities. They're finding their foundation. So why are they being penalized so heavy? Because I just don't think, they look at Hubert Davis. We already saw the brother can coach. We can coach. So he's not getting that respect now. And the same thing with Duke. Duke started out in the top 10. If Coach K was still there, you think they'd be 17? You really, let's be honest. If they lost those same games, would they be? No. So it's like, to me, some of that is that I hate to think that, but that's what I'm thinking. So it's still early. It's still early. And I like what I said about Gonzaga because I watched him play a couple of times. And I think I said to you, when is Timmy going to leave, man? It's like, he doesn't want to leave, but when is that Rouse going to? What's he, a 6-7 year player? When is he going to leave? But I'm not sure about them this year. I will watch them kind of mature, but I'm just not sure. They seem like it's a different type of Gonzaga, and I'm not sure if the toughness is there.
I think the Gonzaga, and I text this to Ice, I think Gonzaga is missing that go-to scorer when they need that score late in the game. And they don't have the Suggs. They don't have those guys that you can go to late in the game. That Iowa State loss to North Carolina was a really ugly loss. And Caleb, I think his name is Caleb Grill. Caleb Grill. How do you let him shoot and make 7 or 8 3-pointers in that game? How do you not put a guy on him? It was just ugly. It was just ugly the way they lost. And I think that's when they started saying, okay, this is not the #1 team that we thought it was. And then they had a tough loss against Alabama, who I think Alabama is ranked number 11. They move up 7 spots. I think a multiple overtime game to North Carolina. But I kind of felt like when I watched them, you could tell that they're just not going to remain #1. Kentucky doesn't look as good as Kentucky should be looking. They still get these young players that they're not going to really develop and do anything. Purdue, I was surprised. Purdue jumped up 19 spots to #5. That's the big surprise to me. Maybe they're feeding off the big man at Purdue, and it's a Big Ten team. But Baylor really disappointed me last night the way they got blown out by Marquette. I was like shocked to see that. But when I watch Houston, how tenacious they are on defense, how they're just bullying folks. It kind of reminds me, and I'm not going to put it, I know it's early, kind of reminds me of those UNLV teams where they just bully teams. Watch Houston defensively. They just bully teams. And it's a sight to see. It's a sight.
Shut your mouth. You never talking about UNLV. How dare you? You better not. I know you're not. They ain't got no excuse. UNLV? Lord have mercy.
Watch that Houston team. They are rough.
I got one last question for you, if I may.
Yeah.
Black Thor will remember this. That guy you was trying to oust and get rid of will look real good back in Louisville right now, wouldn't he?
Louisville's horrible. Oh, they are horrible. They're so horrible. I wouldn't be surprised they try to get Rick Pitino back. I really wouldn't be surprised how horrible they look. God, they haven't won a game this season.
Chris Mack would not be a bad choice, would. You talking about you could call for Chris Mack 2 years ago. You called for all these other coaches. I ain't heard you say nothing about Louisville.
No. I'll plead the fifth on that. But yeah, they couldn't do. I thought they couldn't do worse than him. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, NBA, Ice. Give me your eye test on the NBA, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna start right here because I was in San Antonio for the holidays, bro. First time ever. And normally I dog people. We get on them when we get on them, but you got to give people they just do. And San Antonio was playing the Pelicans, bro. I saw Zion Williamson give me 30 and 10, bro. And I was like, oh my God. Is this what we've been waiting on? And you hear about it, but to see it, he was in decent shape. And it appears as if the coaches are using him correctly because what they're doing is, which I kind of like, early on, they put him in is it Ingram?
Yeah.
They put him and Ingram don't play at the same time. So they let one guy start and then Ingram will come in and they play them separately. Then you get down to like the third and fourth quarter and they put them in together. And eight, man, the smoothness of this dude in the post, bro. When he get the ball down low on the block, it can be 12, 15 feet. They double team you, triple team you. He at the rack looking at you like, that's all you got? Dude is amazing. I was sitting there going like, damn, cuz I didn't know you was that sweet, my bad. And just his IQ. He wasn't trying to, a couple times he brought the ball up the court, but he wasn't trying to be magic or nothing. But he was in his position and they look real good. And this was without the guard was out. I can't think of the guard's name from Portland. McCollum didn't play.
Wow.
He went on the squad and they was just, and I know it's San Antonio, but I was like, oh my God, 30 and 10? I was like, really? I'm in the suite, get my beverage ready. I was like, damn, I can't even take a break and get my beverage because he was killing. But but I think they're playing good basketball and you can see where they're like, in the fourth
in the number 3 spot.
That's what in the spot I'm saying. I'm sitting there going like, ooh. So you're watching that. So Phoenix is trying to do a little something that way. Denver making a nice little run. Memphis is in 4, but I was really impressed by New Orleans. And in the East, man, somebody forgot to tell Boston they lost their coach because they are on fire. and they're playing well. They don't care. Milwaukee's still doing Milwaukee, and I know they were talking about making a trade, trying to get the forward Crowder, trying to get Crowder to come over from Phoenix. But I'm gonna say this to you: they keep trying to make a trade. If they do make a trade, they might be making a mistake. Normally, I've been on this dude since he was in college, but that damn Grayson Allen, aka Jack Tripper, he been balling his butt off, bro. He's shooting the ball real well, playing inside the scheme for Milwaukee, and he's basically telling them, "You can't trade me." I like Milwaukee, but with his play, it's amazing. I was surprised to see that Indiana, who's been playing real good ball, is like in the fourth spot.
Yeah, they're
playing real well. So a lot of with young talent coming up, doing some things, and maybe that's kind of way to get the old guard down for a minute. But it's still early, but it's still a good way to see some parity early in the NBA.
Well, Black, we're past the 20-game mark, and you got in the East, Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Indiana, Philadelphia, Toronto, Washington, and Atlanta. If you notice, I did not say Miami in that. Miami is 11th in the East. In the West, you have Phoenix, Denver, New Orleans, Memphis, the LA Clippers, Sacramento, number 6. You have Portland and Utah. You did not hear me mention Dallas, Golden State, the LA Lakers, Minnesota, San Antonio. Those teams are the bottom feeder in the Western Conference. What's your eye test, man?
You know, it's interesting when you said Dallas, I thought of Don Nelson. Because I watched Dallas and Golden State play last night, and we all remember Don Nelson.
Yes.
Don Nelson would give you 130. When he coached, he'd give you 140, but no defense, bro. And I'm looking for, surprisingly, I'm looking at Golden State, and it's kind of like the same thing. You got Curry going off, giving you 40, whatever, and you're losing. And it's almost seemed like, to me, Golden State is still fat off of winning. And it's like, let's go out and be pretty, but we're not going to play Golden State basketball, which is defense. And they're not playing it, bro. They're just not getting down and getting dirty and playing solid defense. And I'm thinking they're going to be able to turn it around, but I'm not sure. I agree with Ice about that trade they want to make. That young man is doing well with Milwaukee. And the cat that they're thinking about giving from Phoenix, I'm not sure what he's going to give you. What's he going to bring to you that you don't already have? And what kind of surprised me, it's another cat. I think his name, he was with Villanova. They had him, if I'm not mistaken. They had him, Milwaukee had him a while ago. He's now with Dallas. And I'm like, same type of hard-nosed player. You got rid of him, and you're trying to bring another one in. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. And I agree, man. Boston, something about Boston, bro. Those young cats made up in their mind last year. We got there. We want to go back. I don't care who coached them, but this coach they brought in is doing a hell of a job. He's doing, when you think about it, he kind of stepped into that situation. He solidified. He's doing a hell of a job. Miami kind of, I don't know what the hell's going on there. I have no idea what's going on with that team, but they should not be that bad. They should not be. I mean, to not even be within the top 8, I mean, what's going on? I mean, I have no clue what's going on in Miami. Philly is Philly. And I will say this, though. I did watch, it wasn't at full strength, but Brooklyn came in and Simmons played that game in Philly. And to me, he kind of stepped up. I was happy to see that, bro. I mean, not that he played a sensational game, but he did not get punked. You could tell mentally he needed that. So I'm happy for that for him. But yeah, the young guns around the league, man, are stepping up and starting to take over, and it's time. Just like if you saw it a couple of nights ago, that cat drained that shot on LeBron. LeBron has been playing all that. People act like, well, you guys, LeBron's got to stay with his man. LeBron played that defense his entire career. He don't guard anybody. Who does LeBron guard? Who does he shut down? Yes, that's his man out there. You go running out there with your 6'8", and he drained it on you. Rookie. I think that's from Gonzaga, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I saw a few plays where Zion was matched up against LeBron and was handing him his hat. Like, you can't guard me, old dude. You can't guard me. So, I don't know how. I think LeBron just passed Jabbar, right?
Who cares?
Yeah, and not a lot of fanfare about it.
Who cares? Because, someone said this, which is true. LeBron has played, think about this. We know Jabbar played a long time.
High school, college, and
yes.
Yeah.
But 4 years of college, when you was already in the league 4 years, so that's like, bro, don't sit down with that. Don't sit down. And trust me, Jabbar earned his points the hard way.
No 3-pointers.
Yes, who Jabbar, and think about Jabbar, who Jabbar had to go up against when he came into the league. I'm not even gonna say the names. You think LeBron could have scored those points against them?
Yeah, it's true.
That brother been sitting on the sideline with his banky
Yeah,
in his mouth.
yeah. Let's move to the World Cup. I know some of us don't watch the World Cup, but the World Cup has been very, very fascinating. The teams you thought they were going to be in are not in, and you got some African teams like Senegal and Ghana, and you know some of these teams are stepping up this year and really kind of making a point that it's not going to be the World Cups of the past. My team Brazil is still in it. Ice, give me your eye test. I know you've been texting me back and forth about the World Cup. I'm really not really high on Team USA because they're young and they're always stealing other players from other countries, just like everybody else. But I thought they were going to lose against Iran or tie against Iran yesterday and not make it in again. But your thoughts, man?
Yeah, no, I mean, I get you. I get that. I think that a lot of it has to do with certain teams playing well, and the regulars are there. So you like the regulars. So you got the regulars. You got your Argentinas, right? You like France. You like Brazil. You also have the Netherlands and England, right? All that in Spain. But a couple teams that I like, and I think because they made it to the 16. One of the first ones is Japan. Japan, I was like, who the hell? You don't know if they play soccer in Japan. People know that. But Japan did enough to advance to the final 16, and that says a lot about them. I like them as well. And I'm gonna give some kudos to the America too, because America's real young. When you watch that soccer team, you go, can they even win this game? But they did enough. They had 2 ties. They tied Wales, and then they came back and tied strong with England. And then they came back and had a must-win game that they had to have against, with their last opponent. And then they did that, and they won. So now they advanced. But I like them. They're not. You really don't know a lot of the names. They're young. They play a little faster because I hate slow soccer. It's one thing I don't like. Well, over here, kick it back over here, go back, man. The only way you're gonna win,
attack. And
that's what America's doing with these young cats. They're like, you know what? Look, the only way we're gonna win, we gotta shoot. You can't score if you don't shoot. Mm-hmm. It's like playing 4-corner basketball, North Carolina reference. Anyway, where you're holding the ball, holding it, trying to slow the game down so you can win 2-0. Nobody want to see that. Soccer's already slow, but United States, I like the way that they're doing. They got a big game coming up.
Against the Netherlands.
Netherlands, tough game. But the other thing too is, I love the African countries. I just love to see anybody win. And my squad, that damn Senegal, man, Senegal gave your boy, who's Messi? Who's the other guy? What's my other guy? The top guy, the top goal scorer.
From you're not talking about Ronaldo, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that game against Ronaldo, and Senegal players were giving him the business. And then, of course, how did they end up starting their first goal off? They called some kind of foul. And then you got the best player in freaking soccer with a free kick. Man, come on. Hell, it could be 8 people up there. He was going to score that damn goal. But they didn't quit. They came back, and they got their win again. So they're in too. I like Senegal because when the African countries score, bruh, it's like a party. They get all the umbrellas. And, bruh, I don't care if they don't win another game. I just want to see them score because they party. I would love to be in the World Cup, and I'm only going to go to the games with the African teams. Win, lose, or draw, show up.
Yeah, and Mexico got eliminated today. And there was a story going around, I think I sent both of you, that allegedly they were hiring escorts before the games to party with them. And I'm like, when I was sending it to some of my friends who follow Mexican soccer, they're like, yeah, that's typical. And that's why we can't win anything. So, they like to celebrate before the games. So I was really shocked that Ecuador didn't go any farther. Germany, is last in their group. Usually they are top in their group, and Japan is taking over that because I think Japan beat Germany in the early round. So it should be very interesting. as the World Cup goes on. Going to stay with you on the hot stove, man, and Major League Baseball. A lot of things happening. I know in Chicago, Abreu is going to Houston, and folks here on the South Side are upset that the White Sox never really fought for him.
Yeah, well, when you look at it from the standpoint of what the state of the White Sox, right? You're basically losing your coach, right? And try to get somebody else in there. The front office doesn't appear to be making any solid moves either. So how are you gonna come at a guy and tell him, hey, you should stay because now we're gonna build for the future? When you got Houston over there, like, yeah, you 35 years old, but hell, you want to run it back? Want to run with us? We just won one. We're gonna be banging on trash cans next year. You want to come over and get you one? So I think that's why you look at it from that standpoint. Also, too, you look at Jacob deGrom, the right-handed pitcher. A lot of people are going after him. Possibility the Mets, the Rangers, and the Giants are trying to make moves there. Verlander is back on the scene as a free agent. So we're a lot of interest there. But let's get to the real deal. And this is where we're going to get Black Thor's attention on the hot stove. The man that Puma wants to kick out of New York, Mr. Judge, is making his rounds, and people are talking to him and they're telling him, you know, hell, you want a part of our football franchise too? You can get some of that. So they are literally doing whatever they can to make a pitch to Judge. But by the way, for Puma and the rest of some of the other New York Yankee fans, why y'all want to kick him out? Of course, they already mentioned the rumors. They'd already let the information out that the Yankees have already offered him an 8-year, $300 million contract to come back to New York, Puma. 8 years, $300 million. So you might as well go on and pick your lip up, put it back where it belongs, and just be mad and be angry. 8 years, $300 million. Where do you think he going? The Dodgers?
Go ahead, Black. Say something, man, because I can't say nothing right now because I just saw 7 years of what he could do. So, yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm not sure what other teams were offering him, but if what Ice was saying there, if they're offering you part ownership of something, go where you can get ownership, bro. You done what you done in New York, man. You prove yourself. Maybe you didn't get a World Series, but you prove yourself. Take that, think beyond baseball, man. That's real stuff right there. That's real stuff. Yankees don't respect you. They don't. Be flat honest. They don't. You know the fans don't. You know they don't respect you. They don't love you. Go somewhere you're gonna be loved and valued, man. Go on. Leave New York. I mean, because you done been to New York all these years. If it hasn't happened for you here, when I mean happen, I mean, to me, this guy should be in New York, should be loaded with endorsements. I don't see it. I don't see it, bro. Whatever reason, I just don't see it. They still showing Jeter around here. Don't get me wrong, Jeter's Jeter. But my point is, you're kind of living in his shadow. So go somewhere else, get that part ownership, work on Madison Avenue, get some deals, knock yourself out, bro. Go hit home runs for a team that respect you and honor what you're doing. Honestly, because it's not the Yankees. Tell them about it.
Puma.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Jackson had to leave Oakland to become Mr. October.
Yeah, that's true.
And I tell you what, the Yankee fans out there weren't booing Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. No, I mean, they knew what he could do.
What Judge doing?
Well, tell me what he's done in 7 years as far as winning the World Series and playoffs.
You know what? I'm gonna put this right here. No one man wins it all by himself.
That's true.
I know that the damn Cincinnati Reds, when they acquired Ken Griffey Jr., because they didn't win the World Series, they put all the blame on him. How about you surround him with some more decent players, some people to help him and do what they got to do? Judge, I get the 7 years, but again, don't give him the 8-year, $300 million contract because you don't need him. You can win without him. Let him go somewhere else then.
Well, $300 million is hard to sneeze at. So I guess we're going to see him in New York next year.
I'm not sure.
Are you okay with that?
Are
you okay?
I mean, if that's what the Yankees want to do, that's fine. I'm going to be a Yankee fan, but I'm not expecting any World Series wins with this guy. I'm not. He hasn't done it in 7 years. I'm really not. What's 8 more years going to prove to me? Now, if he does it, great. But what I have to look at now, I don't know.
Spoiled brat. I tell you what.
I'll be there. What has been also, I want to get on judgment. What has been some more surprising news in Major League Baseball? I know your boy up in Detroit said this is going to be his last year. And do you agree that it should be his last year, or should he go somewhere else and try to win a ring?
Well, I mean, but you got to realize how long you want to play. What does it mean to you? Are you having any fun anymore, right? That's the other part too. Are you having any fun? And when you're a guy like that, when you're making that kind of money and you're doing well, I mean, how many times can you play, boom?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, that's it. And then when you go somewhere else, is a guarantee that you're going to win?
That's true.
So, I mean, I think it depends on the individual player, how long you want to do it. And sometimes you just kind of run out, you run away from it because of the factor that you're frustrated and you want to play for the team that you love or you've been with for a while. And then you go, now I'm going to switch to another team. And you can do that because they do that where they kind of rent players, or you just jump on the team and you get you a ring. But is that how you really want to do it?
Yeah, I would think that he would be a DH, instead of playing first base, play a DH and, kind of play a little bit longer for a team that needs that bat. But yeah, I do agree that, when you feel like it's your time, it's your time. One real quick story, it was basketball related. I remember Isaiah Thomas from the Detroit Pistons years ago saying when he knew it was time to retire, he was sitting by a pool with a nice cool drink, and it was hours before the game. And then somebody yelled down, say, yeah, it's time, game time. And usually when it said game time, he got excited and, got up and prepared. He said, but this particular time, he was like, man, I just want to be out here and just chill. And he said, when he said that, it was time to leave. Any other stories in the MLB?
No, I mean, just more or less just watching to see what's going to happen, because there's a number of free agents that are under the radar that people are not really looking at. Because just look the way what Houston did, the way they were able to bring in some young guys and bring in some people that you really didn't know of, and they were not household names, and they got the job done. So I think that's going to be interesting. And then the question is, are we going to have some of these small market teams continuing to tank and getting rid of the decent players that they have, keep trying to rebuild, and it's like, wow. I want to see what happens there. I want to see what the Dodgers do. The fact that they even mentioning judges tell you they got too much damn money. You got all that talent over there, you can't win. So you're like, well, let's get one more. Let's get
one more, yeah.
Oh,
you talk about the Yankees, the Dodgers, man, they've been spending like, it's no tomorrow. Black, questions from the squad. What's your first question, sir?
Yeah, I thought about this yesterday. I said, I got to put it to the gentleman. Does Kawhi Leonard still have an interest in playing basketball? If he does, what is his motivation?
Ice?
I think he has an interest in it. I think he likes basketball. I don't know what the motivation is, because when you win enough titles, you got to ask yourself that. I mean, I don't know. I think he does it because he's good. He gets money. But if you're going to say, oh, man, I just got to get to the court, I don't think he will. What else I'm going to do? They paying me this money? I'm going to play hard, but when I can't play, I can't play. Is that what you want me to do, like, though? Just get out there and run? Because, like, want me to run real crazy when I'm injured? But I think he may have a more, I wouldn't say lackadaisical, I would call laissez-faire type of attitude. Because he's done everything. What else are you supposed to play for? The love of the game?
I don't know if he wants to, because every time he get a stomach ache, man, he's like, you got to sit out. And it's like, you got to wonder if that's your teammate, and you're seeing how to me, he's almost like manipulating the system. He's just manipulating the system. He's getting paid. He could be top 5 easily as an NBA player, but it just seemed like he's not motivated. It seems like he plays when he wants. And I don't know what motivates him anymore, because it's obviously not money and championships. He won that. He got that. And he's a very frugal guy, as I understand. So he's pretty much set for life. And so for me, I would respect it if he says, you know what, I don't want to play anymore. I just want to retire and just go on my life. but he keeps dragging us along like he really wants to play, but his actions are showing something different. And it must be driving Ty Lue crazy, his teammates crazy, and the LA fans crazy of the Clippers, that he's not there full time. And you call it load management or my stomach hurt. I don't know, man. I don't know why he's still there.
When you think about this, well, when I think about this, I think when he ran in Toronto, he didn't know what else to do. I think everybody at that point, the NBA, he was at his beck and call. So he decided, you know what? I'll go here. I'll put a team together. But he hasn't been motivated since then. And I think winning in Toronto basically solved the one goal he wanted to prove to himself and maybe others. He could win it without Popovich. So once he's done that, I don't think he has nothing else. He feels he has nothing else to accomplish. And like you said, he's been frugal with his money. This guy hasn't spent none of his money. So his money is not his motivation anymore. And I don't think he has motivation to play. I just don't think he has that inside of him. But I think he took the contract because he wanted the, new contract. But I think the time off said to him, I don't really want to do this anymore. I just don't think he's feeling it. I think when he gets out there, he does a little bit. He doesn't feel it. And if you think about it, man, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's been around before he was with San Antonio. He was around with another team. So he's been around for a while. And then he's fought through some injuries. I just don't see it, man. I don't see that fire burning. I don't think he's into it. It's sad because LA gave up a lot to bring him there and get the other player there.
Well, George,
yeah, and it has damaged the franchise, in my opinion. I mean, Ty Lue is a good head coach, but it's like it's like they take 2 steps forward and they're waiting for him to kind of help them take 3 steps, and they take a step and a half back. And I just don't think nobody talks about, nobody's saying. I think he's a player that people are afraid to talk about and say what they truly feel. Now, when Ben Simmons was acting this way, or if that was Ben, oh man, everybody would be punching Ben Simmons in the gut. Kawhi Leonard's like, don't say anything. He's special.
Yeah. Ice, your question.
Yeah, my question is, staying here with the NBA, one of the things that, would you say that the 6th slot in the West is being held right now by Sacramento? Did you say that?
Yeah.
So why is nobody talking about Mike Brown and the job that he's doing with Sacramento right now?
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. Black?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's doing a phenomenal job. But the last time we even talked about Sacramento as a team, bro, I'll be honest. I remember last year I felt sorry for Fox being on that team, bro, because to me, when he came out of college, he was expecting so much, and there's other names that came out the same time he came out. We kept hearing their names. It was like Fox almost was forgotten about. And he was doing his thing out there, but now he's starting to come around. You're right. No one's kind of really talking about him. They're kind of giving up. And if I had to say probably why, because I think Mike Brown has been around for a while. He's been back and forth, and maybe people are wanting to see it sustain. And that might be the question mark that people have in their mind. We want to see it kind of sustain and last for a while. Outside of that, man, I can't see why not. Because, I mean, he's doing an awesome job with that team. He hasn't bought into playing defense.
NBA commissioner, I know you have talking heads on Fox and ESPN, but you should fire them because this is a story. You have Sacramento, Coach Brown out there. Instead of just parading LeBron and KD and all those folks over and over, we talked about this over and over again. You got the Sacramento Kings. They ain't been relevant since, I don't even know when they were in the playoffs with the Lakers, with Vlade and Weber and all those guys. This is a story. This is a big story. I know we're only 20 games in, but you're parading these same guys. You keep parading the Lakers and stuff, and they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not. They're losing games in the fourth quarter because they're too old to keep up with the younger teams. And you got a story where you can market the NBA and you just let it just drop. Now, I really don't understand it. I've been paying attention to it. Portland, those young guys out there, they're balling out there. You got talent that's balling, and you're not paying attention to them. You may hit Ja Morant every now and then in the highlights, but these are guys that are balling. They're making the league, and you just ignore them, and you're not marketing them because you're holding on to, LeBron James. Okay, let's see how far that's going to take you when nobody wants to watch after the Lakers make a sudden drop when he stops playing. I know he wants to hang around when his son plays. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. That's not something I'm going to tune in and watch him play on with his son and in the same game. I don't want to see that. I don't care. But you got these young teams that are balling, that are playing hard. You got these coaches and doing really well, and you won't put them on prime time so we can take a look at them and see what they're doing and what's brewing with these teams. Ice?
Yeah. It's just crazy because of the standpoint of when Mike Brown lost with LeBron, when he was the coach over there, he caught hell in the handbasket. And then to see that Sacramento's has been a very tough place to win. You had Luke Walton over there because he's with the Lakers, everybody thought, and also with Golden State. A lot of people thought he was going to be the answer. And you've had a lot of turnover in that job. And now to see that Mike Brown can literally go over there and use some of the same players after some of the bad decisions that they made. And he literally has that team playing real hard for him and winning games. He deserves some credit, bro. I don't know if they're going to far they're going to go, if they're going to go far at all. But he still deserves some credit. And as you said, why not get a man his flowers now? Give him his flowers now, because he may not be the best coach in the world, but daggone, he can make you competitive. And for but for Sacramento, that's saying a lot. If you can make Sacramento competitive, saying a lot about the coach.
Yeah. Question. The Jerry Jones photo came out last week. A lot of people were saying, hey, he was 14 years old. He didn't know what he was doing, so we shouldn't kind of punish him for that. But what I was thinking about is that, past behavior predicts future behavior. And so even though he was part of the crowd that didn't let Black folks go into school, he found a way to profit from them and do a lot of different things that kind of showed me that this guy is not too far away from the character we saw at 14 years old. Black, your thoughts?
No, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I think Jerry Jones basically have taken kindness to some folks that look like us. Don't get me wrong. Black men, so to speak, that play for him. I'm not going to knock him for that. But at the same time, when you look at his records, hiring Black people, he hasn't done it, bro. He hasn't done it. I mean, does he even know the Rooney Rule exists? Let's be honest. He hasn't done it. Now, with that being said, this to me seals it all. And I'm not even going to talk about the picture because we're 14, we did some things, and whatever the case may be. But at 14, you are starting to develop your idea, your identity, who you are, with your thought process, a lot that's going on. Now, with that being said, to me, and I said this when it happened, when Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, when Jerry Jones came out and said, anyone on my team takes a knee, I'm firing him. And not one decided to do it. And then when he did that charade and went out and held the elbows, and went down, bro, I'm sorry, man. I don't know what more you got to see. But to me, a couple of weeks ago, the country was in a fandom over a tweet. Basically, no comments, no nothing. And you have Black people coming out, oh, he's an idiot, he's this and that. Show me the Black person that says anything about Jerry Jones. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I said to you earlier, there's a minister in Dallas that ripped him to shreds. And what he said is true. He said, Cowboys fans ain't going to like it. But Jerry Jones has always shows you who he is. He don't care about you. He'll pay you for your talent. He'll pay you for that. Go sit at his table and eat a meal. See if he like you to sit there. Look at the draft room when the Cowboys do a draft. You ever see any Black person in there? Well, we're worried about they're going to win the Super Bowl. So I'll be honest with you. Jerry Jones to me showed me who he was when he did that with the Colin Kaepernick. Who are we though? Because when we support the Cowboys in one form or fashion, we're supporting Jerry Jones. So root and holler for them to win the Super Bowl and they doing this, what the case may be, it's the same old thing. And I'm saying this to all Cowboy fans. If you can digest that and feel good, keep on going, bro. Because he don't give a damn about you. He don't. Maybe don't have to. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just don't. But that's Jerry Jones. I find it interesting, and I'm going to say this, get off this. Every time these owners get caught up in trouble, you got some black person running to their defense. Every single time they get in trouble, some black person, oh, you know, shut the fuck up. Let them fall on their own sword. I'm tired of it. Let them fall. They can fall because you know them. It makes, stop it. I'm not even gonna drop names because we know, you know who I'm talking about. The #1 coon of the country. Bruh, go somewhere and sit down. Care who you friends with? We don't care. Stop trying to play both sides of the fence. We already know you paid them bought for. You've been paid them bought for a long time ago. You ain't gonna tell me he ain't call you and say, I need you to say a favor for me in the air. I'm friends with dude. Man, sit your little fairy ass down. I'm tired of you.
Damn. Gotta come back out.
There it is. Yeah, you got to follow that.
So no, but I agree from the standpoint of people show you who they are. I've always, from the standpoint of owners, including Jerry Jones, and because of where they're at, they see themselves as superior. And I think that photograph shows you again, how dare you come in to what I have, my establishment, what I'm doing, what we are, seeing that they're superior because of the actions and what they have and what they've accumulated over the wealth or what have you. And I think it has continued with him in football, but I don't think he's alone, but that gives no excuse to whatever. But I see that, and I was always talking about the Billionaire Boys Club. They pick and choose who they want, and they have an exclusive club. Jerry Jones falls right into it because that's who he's always been. But he will hire you. He'll let you work for him. He wants you to win him a Super Bowl. That's what you want to do. He'll do all that. He'll build a big old stadium and hug you and tell you everything and gave you that little fake meal. A lot of people like, oh, did you see me? Okay. I said that a long time ago. Everybody like, oh, you just whatever. No, I told you, they knew that they did not want them damn players to strike. So everybody became kumbaya that 1 week. Get your asses back to work, and that's what we're doing. And this has not changed. So I'm not surprised by it. It has not changed. Granted, we saw him out, and yeah, one thing he has done, he's shown you who the hell he is. And I think that he's not the only one, though. But that has nothing to do with it. But yeah, it's a choice that you make. So Puma, I will say this on this last point. I truly respected you for sitting out and watching football when you did. I respect that. But on the other end, I respect you for doing it. I'm not sure if I could do it because I see the bullshit for what it is. So I'm like, hell, I'm going to ride the train for what it is. It's pure entertainment. It's pure entertainment. I'm not supporting, I'm not buying nothing. I already had cable. So what I watch, I'm like my man say, I'm getting what I can get off of whatever. But I see it for what it is. And I think now that we see these individuals for who they are and what they presented us a long time ago, now everybody's shocked. And, oh my God, and because he let me ride in this plane, I come to his rescue. Motherfucker, please. You know what I'm saying? Really? That's how you doing it? But I ain't mad at you. Game recognized game. Just don't lie to me and act as if everything's okay when you know who the man is. Okay, just be you. We can accept that. If we know who you are, and we don't want to deal with you, we deal with it. That's how it is. From all these broadcasters, like when they had the nerve to put up, may he rest in peace, I guess, that man named Rush trying to be a damn sportscaster. Man, what is that? You know how he feel. How the hell you gonna put him on national TV, expect him to have some morals and some couth about how things are supposed to go and give a type of analogy that makes sense and can be fair to people. You knew what he was when you wanted to, what he was gonna be when he came on, because you want the strife and you want ratings. And that's gonna cause a lot of ratings. So he came on for a couple of weeks, whoop, got rid of him. And everybody's like, oh my God. But guess who everybody watching? That's what type of lifestyle we're living in, type of society we live in now. Everybody wants to, be in that reality TV crap. Think about that. That could have been my last second shot. Reality TV, a president, two presidents, a movie star, and another damn actor, a bad actor. Anyway.
Hey, Puma, let me drop this real quick if you don't mind, man,
Yeah.
because we talked about this, I think it was about a month ago. And remember when the former owner, I should say former, he might still own it too, it's all said and done. The Washington Commanders said, I got stuff on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more stuff is getting ready to come out, bro. Because I said this to Poon, we talked a little while ago. It's amazing. Where did that story get printed? Where did it get printed?
Post.
Washington. And I'm telling you, man, I think more stuff getting ready to pop out. When he said, I got stuff on everybody, who would have thought? You can't name me the reporter that went back and found that photo.
No.
On their own. On their own. And just remember, didn't this guy tell Kraft a while ago, don't F with me?
Yep.
It's getting ready to go down, baby. Watch and see. It's getting ready to go down. A correction might be coming.
Hey, I mentioned to you before though. Remember you talking about, he's gonna just go away. I was like, nah, bro. Because he been in the league a long time.
Yeah.
And he had the team, he held the Washington Redskins name for a long time, even when they wouldn't even give it up. And now it's like, be careful. Be careful because, I told you, I know you want to play this game, watch this. And now they like, give me what he needs so he can get the hell out of here. That's what they What do you want to be quiet and get the out of here? Because you about to do some stuff now. Jerry, like, man, after my daughter and all this shit, now you done came with this damn picture. What the hell's going on, Robert? That's what I'm mad at you. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, with the talking heads, I don't even watch the sports shows anymore. I read the sports. I may listen to like some sports news to get up to date with stuff, but I can't watch these folks that look like me, kind of Uncle Tom and Kunit. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I'm not supporting your shows anymore. I'm not watching your shows anymore. I'm not watching your pre-shows anymore. The person that you spoke of earlier, Black, has another it's heard on the radio, has another podcast coming out. I'm not tuning into that. And I just turned it, every time I see them, I turn it away because you're all bought and sold and you won't speak the truth on a lot of things. I noticed that when this story came out. Just because you're friends, just like Black said, doesn't make it right. That has nothing to do with his record and who he is. The Washington owner, I thought about that too, because when he said it, that's the first thing I thought about, the Washington Post. Okay, this makes sense. But I'm just so beyond it at this particular point that, when is the last time we heard about Brett Favre and the stuff that's happening in Mississippi?
Well, his lawyer just asked him to drop the charge, to take him out of the lawsuit.
Yeah, so
Good old boy.
You have people that look like us who won't attack folks who are doing wrong stuff like that, but they go after us like it's nobody's business. And you got to think that there's somebody behind them with a little pitchfork or whatever saying, go get him, boy, go get him, boy, go get him, boy. And they do it. And we see it. It's clear. It's clear what you're doing. And we see it. And so I'm done with it. I'm not supporting the shows. It's going to be part of my last second shot, but I'm going to Black with your last second shot, sir.
Woo. Yeah, I touched on earlier about basically our kids going to these schools. I mean, at some point, and that's where it kind of starts to me. So you're looking at these cats that wouldn't take a knee with what's the name? At some point, we got to realize what our ancestors went through this country as Black men. I'm speaking to us. We got to realize what our ancestors went through in this country for us to be able to do what we do. So when you take a punk ass route and don't do something, you're discrediting and you're disrespecting them. You are. You may not think it. When you live in your house, you drive in your Bentley, whatever you want to do, I don't care, bro, because you wouldn't have it. You sent a story out the other day, man, of Bill Russell, what his grandfather went through. He kicked ass back in the day when the Klans was running around, wasn't afraid to, through a shotgun. So how we got these punk ass Negroes running around today afraid to be Black? I'm tired of it. Think about where you're coming, your choices, what you do, because at the end of the day, you're gonna die Black. I don't care what you run around here doing, thinking that they love you, whatever, you're gonna die Black, brother, and your money is not taking that away. You have heritage, learn about it, understand, respect it. We could be better. We could be better, but it's up to us.
Ice.
Ooh, that's deep. Mine will not be as deep. It'll be a little bit more low key. This is straight about Zion Williamson. Bro, I apologize. I hope that you are working on being healthy, getting in shape, being the best you, because me watching you drop 30 points and 10 rebounds in San Antonio and play the way that a lot of people think you should play in a very comfortable position says a lot. And I know you're very talented. And I think the frustration in the past was with you, for me and many others, is the factor that we wanted to see you evolve into the player that you can be. And for what I saw, and then now what I've seen the last couple of nights, when you are healthy and you have people, you're surrounded with good players, and they have an idea, a coach that has an idea where you should be playing, you can be dynamite. Am I going to say you're taking over the league, going to be one of the top 10 of all time? Not going to go that far. But damn it, you can play. And I saw it firsthand, 30 and 10. I'm going to give you kudos, brother, because I probably bashed you saying, you know, get in shape, a lot of other stuff going on. But when you want to play, you're dynamite, brother. Thank you for the entertainment.
Yeah. Mine goes out to Jason Woodlock. I don't care how much you talk about Kyrie and all this other stuff, interview the folks that marched around the Barclays Center, you still not invited to the barbecue. Remember, you didn't want to be black. You didn't want to be one of us. We forgot that. We got receipts. Stay over there. Stay over there. I don't care. When Kaepernick was doing his thing, stay up. You're not invited. You can't get your ghetto pass back, bro. You can't. It's done for you. We ain't forgot. Go back and coon on the other side when you were doing it before. We're done. We're done as a people trying to support folks. You weren't supporting us before. What was the change of heart? You had a good Thanksgiving meal? What? What happened? We'll see you next week.